The Sith want one thing, to live forever. They'll do literally anything to not die, using twisted magic and stolen life. But what if a top Sith Lord, one of the most ruthless commanders ever, found a way to become immortal by sacrificing himself? This is the insane story of Darth Marr, the only Sith to become a Force ghost. And trust me, you will never look at the Sith the same way again after this. To understand how crazy this is, you need to see the Sith Empire he lived in. We're not talking about just two Sith. We're talking about a gigantic evil empire with a massive army trying to destroy the Republic. At the top was this super powerful Sith Emperor, but he was always disappearing. So to run everything, they created the Dark Council, 12 of the strongest Sith Lords in the galaxy. And it was pure chaos. The Council was just nonstop backstabbing and assassinations. Sith were literally killing other Sith 24/7 for a promotion. You didn't survive for years on this council. You survived for weeks before someone came for your job. It was supposed to make the Empire stronger, but it was just tearing it apart. But in the middle of all this craziness, there was one Sith who was totally different. A mysterious, masked warrior who only cared about saving the Empire. His name was Darth Marr. We barely know anything about Darth Marr's childhood, and he wanted it that way. Get this, he joined the Dark Council in his early 20s. That's unheard of. It just shows how powerful he was. He was an absolute monster in battle, leading from the front and destroying entire armies by himself. And he wore this iconic, terrifying mask. There was a legend that if you saw his real face, you would literally go insane and take your own life. But here's what made him so weird. Every other Sith used the Empire just to get more power for themselves. Marr saw the Empire as something that had to be protected at all costs. He ran the entire Imperial military, and he didn't care about politics. He just wanted to win the next war. He hated the other Sith fighting each other because it made them weak. He even hired competent aliens, which was a huge no-no for the Sith back then. He still followed the Sith code, but he gave it a crazy twist. He believed in strength, but the Empire's strength. He believed in victory, but a victory for all Sith, not just him. This made him the weirdest Sith alive, a Sith Lord who was driven by duty. This way of thinking led him to do something no Sith had ever done. But before we get to his impossible final moment, if you love insane Star Wars stories like this, smash that subscribe button right now so you don't miss what's next. So, after more war, the Sith Emperor vanished, and basically the entire Dark Council was dead. And in this huge power vacuum, Darth Marr stepped up and became the leader of the entire Sith Empire. For years, he was the only thing holding it all together. He made choices to keep the Empire alive, not to make himself richer or more powerful. And then came one of the most shocking moments ever. A crazy powerful Force user named Revan came back and tried to resurrect the evil Sith Emperor, which would have literally destroyed the galaxy. So Marr did the unthinkable. He called up the Grand Master of the Jedi Order, Satele Shan, and asked for a meeting to form an alliance. The most powerful Sith in the galaxy fought side by side with the leader of the Jedi. They commanded a fleet together to stop Revan. This had never happened before. It was all because Marr was willing to do whatever it took to save everyone. And this created a weird respect between the two biggest enemies in the galaxy. Marr's hunt for the real Sith Emperor took him deep into uncharted space. And then they were ambushed by a brand new, even more powerful empire. They dragged Marr before their leader, Emperor Valkorion, and Marr knew instantly. This wasn't a new guy. This was the same Sith Emperor he had sworn to destroy, just wearing a new mask. Valkorion gave Marr an offer. Kneel before me, and I'll give you a spot in my new perfect empire. For literally any other Sith, this is a no-brainer. You kneel, you survive, and you plot revenge later. But Darth Marr was not any other Sith. He knew this Emperor only destroyed things. He had already rejected him once, and he was not going to bow now. In the most legendary move, Marr just said no. He yelled, "It is you who fears death, Valkorion. I do not. I will not kneel." He ignited his lightsaber and charged the most powerful being in the galaxy. But he stood no chance. Valkorion blasted him with so much force lightning, Darth Marr's body was completely destroyed. He went out like a legend, making his final stand for the Empire he loved. Normally, when a Sith dies, that's it. Their spirit either gets eaten by the dark side or becomes a screaming, crazy ghost trapped in a tomb. But Marr's death was different. His willpower wasn't about his own survival. It was all tied to the survival of his empire. And because of this insane selflessness, something a Sith should never have, he broke the rules of the Force. He became a Force ghost. His ghost went and found Satele Shan, the Jedi Master he fought alongside. He didn't look like a monster. He just looked like himself. This should have been impossible. Jedi become Force ghosts by letting go of everything. Sith try to become immortal by holding on with pure rage. Marr did neither. He achieved it because his loyalty to something bigger than himself was so strong, his spirit just refused to die. He didn't follow the Jedi way, but he got to the same place. He and Satele would later appear together, basically telling everyone that both the Jedi and the Sith were wrong about the Force. So Darth Marr's story doesn't end in some creepy tomb. It ends with his spirit finding peace after helping to finally kill the evil Emperor once and for all. He is easily one of the most unique characters in all of Star Wars, a full-on Sith Lord who broke all the rules. And let's be clear, he was not a hero. He wasn't redeemed. He was a killer and a believer in the Sith way until his last breath. But his story proves that real immortality doesn't come from being selfish and scared of dying. Darth Marr did something that even powerful Jedi struggled to do, not by joining the light side, but by dedicating his entire life and his death to the Empire he loved. It leaves you with a huge question. Is the Force really about good versus evil, or is it about what you're willing to do for what you believe in? So what do you guys think of Darth Marr? Was he the greatest patriot in the galaxy or a total traitor to the Sith? Let me know down in the comments. And if you want to see more of the craziest stories in Star Wars, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.